everyone. Here we are again. I hope you have all had a wonderful week, and we are going to get started today with hearing from some more of our kids about things they are thankful for.
Hey OCF, it's me Sophie, and these are things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my family, my friends, and Jesus dying on the cross for our sins.
I'm thankful for my parents and Jesus for keeping a roof over my head.
Thank you so much for sharing, kids. We just, again, love hearing from you, and I encourage all of you to at least be thinking about the things you're thankful for, writing it in your journal, and just really stay focused on all of God's blessings right now. We are going to now talk about our new verse for the week. So last week we just kind of did a review, but we have a new verse, and this is attached to the email so you can cut them out and put them around your house and practice it. Our new verse for this week is Psalm 31:5. It says, I entrust my spirit into your hand. Rescue me, Lord, for you are a faithful God. And we are going to see in this week's story how once again Jesus performs a miracle, and this is just a perfect verse, as it is for a lot of our stories, because he does rescue us and he is a faithful God. We've talked about different ways to memorize verses, and this week I thought one other way that I don't think we've talked about yet, is by doing some hand motions to help us remember the verse. So you can make up your own, but this is what kind of was making sense to me, was to say, I entrust my spirit, just thinking of my spirit, into your hand. You can do one hand if you want. Into your hand, rescue me, Lord. And then pointing up to say, for you are a faithful God. So I entrust my spirit in your hand, rescue me, Lord, for you are a faithful God. Do you guys want to do that with me? Okay, ready? I entrust my spirit in your hand, rescue me, Lord, for you are a faithful God. Let's do that one more time. I entrust my spirit in your hand, into your hand, rescue me, Lord, for you are a faithful God. So I encourage you guys to memorize that and just keep that close to your heart. And like I said, it's so great to be able to recall these verses when our Bible's not handy, and they can really just help us and inspire us throughout the day. So look for this with the email. And now, before we get to our story, we are going to do a little activity. It's one I'm sure you've done before, but it's always kind of fun because you can use different objects. We're going to do a little sink or float activity. So I've gathered some objects here, and we are going to see and test them to see if they'll sink or float. So what I have so far here, we're going to test a toothpick, a paper clip, a penny, a little flower, a shell, and a Lego piece. So we'll go one by one, and before we drop it in the water, why don't you think to yourself if you think it's going to sink or float. So we will start with the toothpick. So let's see, do we think that toothpick is gonna sink or float? Ready? Let's put it in the water. It's floating. All right, so the toothpick we see floats. Okay, let's go for the next object. Let's try the paper clip. Okay, so think to yourself, this paper clip, just a normal size paper clip, do we think it's gonna sink or float? Okay, let's put it in the water, and it sunk. All right, so the paper clip feels kind of light, but maybe because it's metal, I don't know, it sunk. All right, let's try the flower. Let's try this little baby flower. What do you think? Sink or float? Okay, let's put it in the water. It floats upside down, but it floats. You can kind of see the shadow there. All right, so the flower will float. Now let's try the Lego piece. What do you think? One of these small little Lego pieces? Let's put it in the water, and do you guys see the shadow? The Lego piece floats. Okay, we've got two more items to try. Let's go for the penny. Do you think the penny will sink or float? Let's put it in the water. Oh, did you hear it? It dropped right to the bottom. The penny definitely sinks. and we will do one more item. If Jason can, great, got it out of the bowl. Jason's helping me with this. Okay, we'll do the shell now, the last item. Let's see, think to yourself, you go to the beach, you see shells. Sink or float? Let's put it in the water and see. Oh, I don't know if you heard that, but it also sank to the bottom. We'll just leave it there. I like the look of a shell. So that was our experiment, and you guys can do more items at home if you want and see what sinks and what floats. You may have guessed the right answer. Was it gonna sink or was it gonna float? And you guys can keep doing that at home with different objects for fun. And the way that ties into our story is that in today's story, Jesus walks on water. Now, if you or I were to walk on water, do you think we would go into the water and sink down? Or do you think we would stay on top of the water and float? Yeah, we would not be able to walk on water. But Jesus, again, is performing another miracle. And as we've seen in our other stories, the reasons why he performs these miracles is to show us that he is the Son of God. And all these miracles also show us that he can be trusted. So this week's story, Jesus walks on water and helps his friends. We've got this coloring page also included with this email, and I'm going to read the story on the back that you can also print out for yourself. I do like to color, so I colored my own picture of this, and let me read the story to you. Jesus walks on the water and helps his friends. Jesus' friends were in a boat on the Sea of Galilee. The waves were coming over the side of the boat. The waves were very strong. Jesus' friends worked hard to row the boat. Suddenly, Jesus' friends saw something that terrified them. They saw a man walking on the water. Jesus' friends knew that people couldn't walk on water. They thought they were seeing a ghost. Jesus called out to them. "Don't be afraid," he said. "It's me." When Peter realized it was Jesus walking on the water, Peter wanted to walk out to him. Jesus told Peter to come. Peter started to walk out on the water to Jesus. When Peter looked at the waves, he was afraid and he started to sink. But Jesus took Peter by the hand and pulled him up. They got into the boat, and at once the sea was still. So this story comes from part of it is in Matthew, Mark, and John. And as you can see, Peter was fine walking on the water and he was focusing on Jesus, but then he got scared and he started focusing on the waves. And the truth is, we all get scared. And we all find different things more scary than others. I'm going to show you some pictures right now. And just think to yourself if you think you would be scared or not scared. And if you want to kind of move around a little bit, if it's a picture and you think about the picture and you think, whew, that's scary, you might want to sit down. But if you look at a picture and you're like, that's not scary, then maybe you want to stand up. So let's go through some of these pictures together. Here's a picture of a bridge. That bridge is really high up. So think about how you would feel if you were driving across the bridge or maybe walking across the bridge real close to the side. Let's see, here's another picture. Let's look at this picture of a hot air balloon. Do you think that's scary or not scary to be in there? And then the next picture is of a cat. Some people are scared of animals and some aren't, so it just kind of depends how you feel about cats. Now let's look at a bigger animal. Here's a picture of a lion. Imagine if you were walking along and saw the lion. Do you think that would be scary or not scary? And here's a picture of the ocean, of a huge wave. Imagine if you were right there, right where that big wave was. Do you think that would be scary or not scary? And here's another picture out on the ocean of a sailboat. So imagine being in that sailboat. Is that scary? Is that not scary? And the next picture, we've got two more, is of someone walking on a tightrope. Usually those are pretty high up off the ground, so imagine that. Do you think that would be scary or not scary? And the last one is of somebody climbing, it looks like kind of an ice cave. Think about that. Do you think that would be scary or not scary? So we all probably answered differently for a lot of those pictures because, like I said, different things scare different people. And there's some situations I couldn't really show you in a picture, but say you're running and you see a cactus and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna run into this cactus and it's gonna hurt me. Well, God gave us the feeling of fear, sometimes to protect us so that we know, ooh, stay away from that. So fear is a real thing, and we all feel fearful or scared at certain times. But what I want to talk to you about and just have you remember is that the scariest thing, imagine the scariest thing you can, the thing that would make you most fearful, can't take you away from God. God is always, always with us. He is with us, He is near to you, and He loves you. So Brenda's going to go into more detail with this story, and we are going to see all the reasons why it's just so important to stay faithful and to keep our eyes on Jesus, because He's always with us and nothing can take that away from us. So enjoy the story with Brenda this week, and also look for more activity pages. There's a maze, there's a journal page, the coloring page like I showed you. There's, let me see, what else is there? Oh, there's like a coloring one with a hidden picture and a hidden word that kind of pops out once you color it. So look through those activity pages. I hope you'll have fun with them, and we are still missing you, and just know that we care about you all, and we hope you have a great weekend. Bye.